Well, hey everyone, hopefully you're not sick of me yet, but I have another deck list for you today, Mischevious 13. This is my take on Mischevious 13. It's not really a deck that I personally play a lot of. I mostly use it as a testing against myself. I have friends play it, or sometimes I'll just self-test myself with it. Really not a deck that I'm like super crazy passionate about. I think 13 is really, really strong no matter what you kind of put him in. And I know for sure the Black Mischevious version has some really ridiculous potential. Devious, of course, being a really good anger deck and both a really good control deck, depending on how you want to play him. And I feel Mischevious kind of runs in the same path. Perhaps Mischevious is a little less of the beady bit that like Devious used to be, but it's got a better anger game. So with that said, I've tried to focus more on the anger path myself. You do see some control of your cards, like Defensive Burst in here, as well as Searching Technique, Black Power Up. I think those cards need to be in like Black Anger for the most part, just being able to pick out anti-anger answers, as well as just your opponent's like strong board cards with Searching Technique, being able to end combat against a lot of these aggro decks is really, really strong. Between Black Power Up and also just being anti-physical aggro and ending combat with impenetrable defense, being able to end combat, you have a really strong matchup against physical aggro. And that's like a theme that you'll probably see with a lot of my anger decks, especially the physical-oriented ones. They try to have a strong matchup against physical decks, especially right now. I don't feel as though energy decks are that strong right now. I don't think they've really ever been too crazy. Obviously, the control decks do run their fair share of energies. I think Yamcha and Android 18 are probably the most viable energy beats MPs. But I'm kind of getting off track for a different discussion for a different time. So as you'll see, we have a good amount of attacks, and almost every one of them gain anger. Many of them have a potential to gain you 2 anger or more. Well, I wouldn't say more, but 2 anger. Some of these cards, definitely subjective, definitely could just get swapped out. As you can see, my events too, most of my events give you anger or can somehow help you in the anger game, with Stare Down being able to knock out maybe a potential anti-anger card in your opponent's hand. But we'll get down to the deck list here. So at first, I have 3 Android Armbreaker. Now this card is very strong. I think it is definitely a card that like a lot of people I feel, at least for myself, are willing to cut out of a lot of decks. At least it does give you an anger on level 1. Whenever you play an Android card on your level 1, you get an anger. So there's that synergy going for it. If you hit your level 4, you play this card, you get a skip effect, which is nice. It doesn't give anger, which is the downside to it, though, on any level but your level 1. But being able to knock out a lot of these Unleashed Beats decks, it just, again, maybe if you can't even anger against a lot of these Beats decks, these physical Beats decks especially, they're running Unleashed, being able to stop them from unleashing, super, super strong, and beating down their AT with this plethora of physical attacks, really nice. Next we have Android Insubordination, great card. This card, along with things like Point Blank Volley, and Impenetrable Defense over there, give you so much extra anger in a combat. You're taking left card damage, these get knocked off your deck. Oh look, next actually pop one for an anger, just like the good old Piccolo's Way to Clothing kind of a deal. But a really good card. The board hate on it kills a non-styled, setup or drill? Not a lot of people are running that kind of stuff, I suppose. Some people run Deflection Drill and Tree of Might still, but you don't really care about that. It's really just for the anger gain. And it is a 2 anger card on your level 1, which is really nice. Android Headbutt, same kind of theory as the Insubordination, 2 anger on your level 1. It is a skippable attack on your level 4, which is really nice. If it hits, it does allow you to discard a card from your hand, so should you draw something like a Black Command and you want to go for a big anger leap, definitely really cool on that. It does give you some crits should you ever need them, if a ball deck is giving you issue. Black Backstrike, very, very good card. Awesome card. Don't really need to say much about it. It's a name card. It gives you anger, an unpreventable attack. Really, really strong. I could, I guess, see you maybe cutting it in a more anger build for a 2 anger card. Same thing with Android Armbreaker over here. But in this match, in this deck, I do really, really appreciate it. I think having that card in there as a threat for critical damage is really, really strong. Next we get to Black Dash. Here's a 2 anger card. Very, very good. You can go search your opponent's life deck for an ally. Really nice. Just really, really nice card. Doesn't do a lot of damage. Same with Black Combo here. But they're both 2 anger cards, and Black Combo is your answer to things like Wall Breaker and certain annoying attach cards. So really, really nice cards there. But don't do much damage. Oops, let's get my finger here. You got Defensive Burst. This is mostly a meta card. I think it is absolutely warranted to run this card in most black decks, even some of the Anger ones. Very, very strong card. Can completely shut out an opponent during a combat. Next we have... Oh, and just to mention that, the basic combo, with Android 13, it's very easy to get up to your level 3, which, if you don't know what level 3 does, of course, it's a physical that you generally do want to block with a lot of decks. You can shut off all constant effects if it hits. You use him when entering to skip your opponent. You put immense stage pressure on them, and you make them choose between blocking a D-Burst and your level 3. And for a lot of decks that are running constant effects, such as like Ruthless Mastery, or knowledge decks, even to an extent Mischevious decks, making them choose between taking a defensive burst and your level 3 is a great mind game. It's just another reason why I think 13 is really excelling in any sort definitely in a physical meta. He excels. He was the big Broly counter back when he came out, and I think he's still like a silver bullet almost to physical aggro, especially in black. You have cards like Deblo. Deblo's awesome. Great card. I mean, literally everything. My favorite card in the game. Gravy. Awesome, 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 awesome. Point Blank Volley. This card, like I said, along with Android and Subordination, when you're taking damage, it's going to make your opponent afraid to hit you. Same thing with Impenetrable Defense, which we'll get to. Really, really awesome. I think it needs to be to 3 in any Android 13 Anger build. This doesn't always give you Anger, but giving you more actions is always a good thing. Really, really cool. Great card. Now we move on to the block line. I do run a lot of physical blocks. Black Delay, of course, being at 2. It's kind of matchup dependent. I'm kind of like between this and Black Stop. Personally, I kind of like the extra control. Again, I do run a few control cards like D-Burst and this card. I think it's worth running. At 2, I'm always, for some reason, when I play this card, I never like to really put it at a 3 in a lot of my black decks. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's definitely a scary card for any physical aggro playing against you. Same thing with Impenetrable Defense. This card is so good in any matchup, gets knocked out of your deck, just like Wheeler's Revival, gives you awesome, awesome effect, helps you. When you're getting nailed by someone before you can even get crit, you might level off with this card, so that way they crit and do nothing to you. Really, really nice card. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Also, because, again, if you block with it, you make them lose 5 stages, and then you throw an attack if it hits you in combat. So it just really, really, you destroy physical aggro with this deck. Knee Catch to Anger, of course. Corruption, I have it in here. You might not actually need it. I think it's mostly just for in case you run against any Energy Anger. I could honestly see cutting Corruption entirely because we do so much stage damage, and then maybe running like Hug Maneuver in this deck would be a decent card. We'll see. Black Resistance, just a lot of endurance. We're generally, another thing with why I would cut Corruption is you're generally just trying to race other decks in Anger, if they are an Anger deck, and physical aggro you can shut down. So really you just want to be able to Anger faster than Control can get set up, and faster than other MPPV decks can get set up. And with 13, it's very, very easy to hit your level 3, which I generally find is where you will stall out. You'd rather be on 3 than 4, but getting stuck on 3 and 4 is a real problem with this deck. But Endurance on this card is nuts, gives you Anger. Again, the whole theme of this deck is to get Anger, with a little bit of control cards here and there. Time, of course, great card. Wish it gave Anger. That would be kind of nice. This is a card I threw in now. Probably not going to stay in here. It's in here for now, just for some board clear. I don't know. That's probably going to be that's just in there for it now. Honestly, I want to throw Sag Strike in here. That's probably going to, one of the Sag Strikes is probably going to take that spot, and then I'll probably cut these Corruptions after some testing. After me and Derek test this a little bit more, we'll see if we really need the Corruptions. Probably just going to cut the Corruptions. Delay, I could even see getting a cut, but Delay is so powerful against the physical aggro. We have Black Commands, of course, stupid, out of combat Anger. Same thing with this card, stupid, just uninteracted Anger. Schematics, really, it's just for the 2 Anger. We don't really even care about grabbing drills. That's just kind of gravy at this point. Still in a checkup drill from an opponent. Pretty nice. Stare Down, super strong control card. Sure it doesn't give Anger, but it can do a lot for you just leading that card. We have, as far as our nons go, I'll move these guys out of the way real quick. We got Black Power Up, of course, and in combat, control in combat, super awesome, because generally speaking, in black, and in combat's actually pretty nice. That's one of the reasons why I could actually also see Blinding Energy Move going in here, probably for some of those cuts I was talking about, potentially, and Earthball 7 even. Definitely a card that makes it, I think, in both the anger versions and the control versions of 13. Being able to just like enter combat, throw a 2-anger attack, they throw an attack back at you, you block with one of your anger blocks, and in combat you got 3-4 anger without someone. Even getting an action on you, really, really strong. Or getting one action on you, rather. You have Searching Technique, just super strong black control card. I guess I could see you not running this card and maybe running Face Off in this deck. Maybe Face Off even instead of Power Up, probably not. I could see that. I think that could be good. I think Face Off could do a lot of work in this deck. But I personally really like Searching Technique. It's going to kind of come up to depend on if we think we need to tech for those allies and if we really want to just push the anger a little bit more. But Searching Technique is super, super strong. Being able to kill some of your opponent's best cards, always going to be a good thing. I think it just lends yourself into some of those longer matchups that you're going to have pretty well. However, like I said, Face Off, generally a lot of the long game decks are drill and ally decks. Like Supreme Kai has allies, combative decks have drills, Mischevious decks have drills, so I suppose we'll see. We also have Smoothest Drill, of course, that's going to be pretty much any deck, even if you level, it's too good not to run. 14, 15, obviously bread and butter of your deck. 15 helps you deal with drills, and, pesky attach cards. And 14, well, he gets you, you don't really care about his when entering, other than he kills an Android card, which, you just pretty much fuel him for level 1, so. But I think, for the most part, this list is pretty set. It's really kind of dependent on how you like to play yourself. Like I said, I could see Armbreaker being taken out. I do just like the tech of it, though. D-Burst, I suppose you could run it for an anger card. Black Delay could maybe see a cut down, if we ran more anger, or combat ending, what do we really need delay? Delay doesn't give anger, so I don't know. Corruption could see a cut. We also have Overwhelming Power could see a cut. Really those cards are probably the cards I think are weakest. I think Searching Technique you could cut, but I don't think combat ending you want to get rid of. Otherwise, I think everything's pretty set. Those are just some of the cards I could see moving around. And I know a lot of people play him very differently. Some people play just pure anger. Some people play more control. I think there's definitely definitely a good medley of middle ground you can play with him. But I think this is a pretty decent list. It does pretty well in testing. And it's mostly just a matter of what do I think I need to play for and against him. Should I just really go all in on the anger or not? It's kind of really up to how I feel this deck performs. I think this is still very, very fast. 13 definitely can get stalled out on this level 3 and 4. So maybe having some of the more control cards so that you can actually deal a little more damage and have enough control where you can grind someone out with your level 3 is good. But also you have to, if you're going to go anger, you got to make sure you got enough anger in there to get off that 4 and win the game. So either way, still a very strong deck. Definitely know that other people have different lists. Love to hear about it in the comments below. I hope this kind of gives some insight and helps you maybe have a deck to throw in the gauntlet for testing. Thanks for watching.